What do you say to a person that has gone through the most tragic, most unspeakable grief there is? A mother losing a child. What do you say to that person? There are people grieving the loss of innocent lives, and people ask the question, why? God, why did you allow this to happen? God, how could you allow this? God, where were you? God, why did you allow that tragic thing to happen? God, why did you allow someone I love to be taken away? God, what are you doing? And we ask that question, why, of God a lot.
Oh Lord, do you see us down there? Oh Lord, oh Lord. It's easy to blame God, but harder to fix things. We look in the sky like, why ain't you listening? Watching the news in our living rooms on the big screens and talking about if God's really real and where is he? You see, the same God that we're saying might not even exist becomes real to us, but only when we're dying in bed. When you're healthy, it's like we don't really care for him then. Leave me alone, God, I'll call you when I need you again.
I have a lot of books here, and there aren't any books that really answer any of these questions. A lot of times when we're going through grief, going through stress and tragedy and just hardship, we're asking the question of God, why did this happen? Why did you allow this to happen? And none of the books I have on my shelves here actually do a good job at answering that question. That question, God, why did you allow this to happen?
Who says following God is supposed to be easy? We see here in the story of Elijah that things go from bad to worse. And it takes all of Elijah's faith to continue on with this journey, with this assignment that God asked him to go on. In this story, we see that Elijah's faith and his actions are going to start to have direct implications and impact on the lives of people around him. But in 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 17, the story takes a turn for the worse. I can't imagine what this woman must be feeling, that she's losing everything that she has, that she puts her faith in a God that she doesn't know. God provides for her, but that provision does not continue on, because it says sometime later her son grew sick and he stopped breathing and he died. Now imagine that you're praying, you think that God is answering your prayers and God is providing for you. That's great, but then he takes it away. I don't know if you've ever been in that situation where it seems like God is providing and things take a turn for the better for a little bit, but then all of a sudden the bottom drops out and things get far worse. There's a lot of people crying out to God right now. Just last week we heard about the shooting in the school in Florida. A lot of people crying out for God, a lot of mothers, a lot of fathers and siblings and friends who are crying out to God. God, why? Where were you? There's people in my church that have lost loved ones, lost their job, lost hope, and crying out to God, God, what are you doing? We thought that we obeyed you. We thought that you were going to come through for us. Why are you allowing this to happen right now, God? Why? This is the amazing thing in this story. The story goes on, and Elijah says to this woman, give me your son. Give him here. It says, give me the thing that brings you pain. Give me the thing that your burden that you're carrying, your pain. Just give me the boy. Give me that source of pain. Let me bear that burden for a while.
Small groups sang, and others prayed. And when that wasn't enough, Parklanders carried the burden for others.
No, it's that all the people here are here because we love each other, and every child is our child. Every loss is our loss.
The story goes on, it says that Elijah took the boy up to his room and he prayed for the boy. He put his hands on the boy and he prayed for the boy, and he prayed for him not once, not twice, but 3 times. He prayed for God to heal the boy, and all of a sudden at the 3rd time the boy takes a big gasp of air and wakes up. And this is the first account of a person rising from the dead in the whole Bible. I love this story because the story is about how Elijah's faith changed the life and the experience of a whole other family, of another person. In this particular instance, this woman had no faith to give. She was in despair and she was in doubt. And the faith, it was the faith of Elijah. It was another person's faith that brought the miracle into her life. Now that's such an amazing lesson, because it says that there's some times in life when you have no faith left, you have nothing to give. And in those times you need someone like Elijah in your life to say, just give me your problems, give me your boy, give me your pain. And even though you don't have the faith to believe, I have enough for the both of us. There's going to be times when we're like this widow who has no faith. We're just in despair. We just have no hope. And at that point, we need to have people like Elijah in our lives. That's why we need to be involved in a church community. We need to be involved with people who love us and care for us, to pick us up when we're down, when we have no faith to believe for ourselves, that we could lean on the community, the faith of the community, faith of people who love us, to believe when we don't have enough to believe, that we don't have enough faith within us, we don't have enough hope. We need to be involved in a community that offers us that can have faith to cover our doubts. Sometimes the greatest blessing from God isn't just the miracle or the provision. That the greatest blessing is when God provides for us deep friendships and provides for us people who will believe when we have no hope left. And sometimes that's the greatest blessing. When God puts people in our lives that will say, give me your problems, let me bear your burdens. I have enough faith for the both of us. Let me carry you during this time.
A couple of questions I want you to consider. The first question is that if you're going through a difficult time, do you have an Elijah in your life? A person who will believe when you have no faith left, a person who will hope when you are hopeless. And the second question is, are you willing to become Elijah for the grieving widows in the world? This pathway of following God will include allowing God to use other people in your life, and also allowing God to use you to bless other people.